Relax. Yes. How you doing, guys? Happy Friday. Sorry I wasn't able to log in last week, actually. Um, like hmm, I'll tell you guys later. So yeah, I had a I had closing. We closed. I had a couple of walkthroughs, which we did. Let me make sure just whatever. Okay, perfect. So yeah, sorry about that again, but being busy, like I told you guys, consistency kills everything, kills your competition, kills your procrastination. So just stay in it, stick in it. Again, I did tell you I was going to talk about a couple of things. Again, we closed on that deal that I told you guys about. Again, I cleared 45, well, 55, but the takeaways like probably the expenses. So I cleared 5K on that deal. That was a what's it called, a bandit sign. Seller wanted 69, was able to negotiate it to 40, sold there at 95. It took a couple of 2-3 months to, we got under the contract right away, but again, closings and interest rates went up like crazy. So we were able to get it sold to another cash buyer through MLS for 95. So that was the escrow portion, and I got, of course, a down payment from the seller directly. So yeah, another thing about hello Tasha, how you been?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to meet you. So let me just, so basically what I was talking about that. So yeah, so again, C buyer, again, if you guys don't know it, again, I think I talked about it before. I usually buy it every end of the year because I get to take advantage of the last year's what's called leads for free by paying for the current month. I pay $12 a lead for 40 leads, so like around $480 a month on that one. So from the previous leads, I got one good deal that's gonna be closing into a deal here shortly, hopefully. That should be like a 15 to 25K deal on that one. From the new leads that I have one. The seller wants 60. I offered 35. We'll probably negotiate 45. I already have a buyer at 75. It's a good location. It's a wood house, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I need to go see it, just negotiate it down. I have another one. It was an inheritance. The lady put the lead on the internet. I called her. She has 2 houses actually, one next to each other. There's an issue here is that the mom passed away first. The dad was alive, got remarried. Switched everything on the kids, made the older son the what's called arrow, the cash money portion of his checking accounts, but left the properties uncontested or unwilled to nobody, right? So now the lady, I told her, well, first you need to make sure that you and your brother, which is the oldest brother, the oldest brother got 100K from the dad when he passed away, cash. The lady didn't get anything. He removed the sister from the will of the 100K. That was messed up. But they had gotten into some friction towards the last part of his life after he got remarried. The father eventually passed away from cancer, I think 2-3 months ago. So now she's trying to unload these properties because the brother's not doing anything. She's the one having to do the maintenance on the houses. That house, she wanted 70. I'll probably get it for like 45. It's pretty rough. But I can probably sell it for like 90. My strategies now is buy it, put it on the MLS, clean it out, buy it, clean it out, put it on the MLS, and have a buyer come in there. Now she also wants to sell the one next to her because that's also was part of the father's properties. That one's being rented right now by the brother of the father that passed away. So I'll probably get that one as well. So that one's gonna pay for everything. So my strategy now for this one, I might increase my C buyer leads from 40 a month to probably, I think the max is like 70 a month, because basically it'll pay for itself. With 2 leads, it pays with 1 lead that I can close 5K on it, it pays for the whole year. But I already have like 3 good ones on this one that I'll close on it. I'll probably pay for I'll probably get like 60, like 40, 50K on these deals. So that's gonna pay for everything. So I might just bump it up, and I'm gonna still keep on doing the scrapings because I pull my own scrapings. I just pay my BA lady to do the actual like clerical work. So that was gonna be stay on. I'll still keep her because she does my outreach with my Facebook and my YouTubes. So that has to be consistency. But I won't buy anything else again as far as leads. I don't buy leads. But I do plan to put bandit signs. But the bandit signs, like I told you guys, they've been staying up for much longer. So I have last year's bandit signs still. I probably have like close to like 700 bandit signs still from last year that I bought. But since I switched my strategy, and sorry, I know I have this guy's number that I need to text them the picture of my bandit sign stapler. But they've been staying up more often. So I have them there just in my house. So I don't have to buy bandit signs this year. So I'm gonna switch the strategy to just being the C buyer and see how it goes. Because if I bump it up to see 70 leads times 12, it's 840 a month for the C buyer leads. 840 times 12, that's 10,000. Last year I spent in marketing with everything was probably around 8,500. So it's around close to the same thing. So I'll probably have to put some numbers down as far as everything so I can make sure that I can offset one cost that I don't have no more, but I don't have that money just there and I have to put it somewhere else. And I think for you guys, if you guys don't want to do marketing, C buyer is it's a great concept. It's a great idea. They do email and they do text blastings, and they also have a website where that's how they market their properties. So it's kind of like an SEO lead. But not a lot of people use it. Again, not a lot of people take advantage of it. But again, I've used it. I've closed deals. My first deal was from C buyer a long time ago. But I've closed deals so far from last year's that I bought C buyer in the beginning of the year. I closed some deals. This year I have like 3 pending ones, and it's only been a month and a half since I had C buyer. So again, it's a good lead source. If you guys don't want to do any marketing, just stick to that. Again, I'm paying $480 for 40 leads. Again, for the whole year, that's what did I calculate for? 40 times 12, 40. Yeah, so I think it's like 480 leads times 12. Yeah, it's 480 leads for the year. Again, for $5,000. Again, if you can't close a deal within those lead sources, then it's you. It's not the lead source, it's you. Again, also remember, you got to have more tools in your toolbox. Not only wholesale, you have to be able to wrap them. You have to be able to do subject twos. You got to be able to hotel them. Again, talk to the seller. You know what, ma'am? This doesn't feel my deal, but let's do this. I do have a marketing team. Let me market your property at your price that you want, so you can walk away with it. And I'll incur all the costs to do the marketing. I'll market it for a little bit higher, but I'll get my money from the buyer side. Again, that's how you can tell. Basically, that's kind of like the novations, but it's considered just like a marketing fee. You can do an option. That'll be another way to do it. You can call it an option, where you just have an option with the seller at their best price, and you go out there, you market it, and then the seller says that if you bring me a buyer at this price, I'll sell it to you, and whatever the spread is, you can do that. If the seller sees that let's say you got it for 100, you can sell it for 160. If they get too iffy it's too much, you can do a 70-30 split. 30 to the seller, 70 to you from that extra 60K that you got. There's ways to negotiate with the seller. So again, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. So again, when you get these, like for me, when I got these leads, I'm doing what's called a wholesale. There's like wholesale ones. There's some most of them, probably like 70% will be just people that want to get their value for the property. That doesn't mean that I give them the value and then I follow up within 6 months or 2 months, 3 months, depending on the conversation. The rest of them are literally they have to, like, inheritance, taxes, too many repairs. So again, 30% of those is a lot. So 30% of 480 times 0.30, it's 144 leads that are gonna be good, solid leads to do wholesales. So yeah, so that's another lead source that I want to mention to you guys, that in case you're not that great at marketing, again, there's sources like these. And I've been using C buyer for the last 5 years since I started this business, because it works. So yeah, it works for me and it works for everything. Again, and they're all comfortable. They're the people that my agent, her name is Jessica. Again, there's ways you can get credit in case if it's a wrong number, language barrier, not the right person, bad number doesn't ring, you get a credit for that lead. So yeah, that's basically that C buyer. I want you guys to again mention to you guys that it's a great lead source. And once I get those deals locked down, I'll show you the contract and I'll tell you, you know what, this is a C buyer lead, this is a C buyer lead, this is a C buyer lead. So on the other thing that I was gonna, again, unless you have a question, what's it called, Tasha, I'll stop. But if not, let me just break down my week so you guys can have. But if you have a question, stop me and I'll answer your questions before I go with my. I like to talk about my weeks a lot. Keeps me accountable. But yeah, do you have any questions for yourself that you might want to talk about before I go on my rant?
Nope, I want to go on a rant with you.
Okay, perfect. So again, the C buyer, perfect. That's a great lead sources. Again, cbuyer.com. I don't have a code. It's just C buyer. You can negotiate. Again, you always want to negotiate. Again, we're in real estate, right? So usually it's $15 per lead, but I negotiated last month for $12 a lead, and this month again for $12 a lead. So you can always negotiate price wise with them. So again, you ask them, hey, I can go for the whole year at $12 a month, $12 a lead, and they might be able to. That's what I'm probably gonna be doing this couple of months to negotiate, so they can give me the same price for the rest of the year. So the current listing that I saw, that I did a sub 2 for 26,000 equity to the seller. I owe 38. I listed for 109. I have a couple of offers at 85. I want a little bit more. I'm not rushed. I've only made one payment to the mortgage, which is like $400. So it's not that big of a payment. So I can wait at least 4 more months. That'll be $1,600. Maybe for a better what's it called price. I want to be in the 100. If I can lock a price of 95, I make how much is this? Let me see. 95. So I'm giving my agent 5,000 minus 65. So it's 90,000 minus 65,000 minus, let's say 4 months, 1,600 worth of payments. So I make 23,000 if I do get a deal at a price at 95,000. So that's what I want. That's what I'm targeting at. Because remember, the mortgage payment is not that big. Can I fix it? Yes. Do I want to? No, because I don't have the team. I don't want to have to stop being what I do with my marketing and my acquisitions, and then having to deal with a repair. It takes a lot of time to be able to be on top of a rehabber that you don't know that he's going to be doing the work for you. Most likely, if I was to fix it, I'll probably have to put like 35 into it, and I'll probably be all in like around 90 or 95,000 into the property. I can probably sell it for 160, 170, so make 50. But again, it just takes time. So it'll take time to do the rehab, and it'll take time to list it, and it'll take time to get a buyer. Again, right now I'm only into it 26,000 from the initial cost, and $400 for the mortgage payment, and like $200-300 for the cleaning. So I'll just wait on it for right now for that one. Again, if it comes to where I don't get a lead, I might consider just either dropping the price, make 10K on it, or either that or fix it myself. Fix it again, have somebody else do the work for me that I know that I can trust. So that's the listing. So it's just there's been there. I guess crazy. It has like 55 saves. Like people like it because it's a great price. So it's just a matter of time. It's priced right. The other deal that I was going to talk about is that it was like a 15-20 month follow up on this guy. This one's from Facebook Gorilla, the Facebook Gorilla marketing that I do. The guy called me in. He had the original owner called me, which is the father. He had two lots next to each other. He wanted to sell them. He said no. And I've consistently, once I have a verified owner, I put him on a follow-up. If I speak to him today, it's always be a text. Hey, we spoke about your property. Are you ready to sell, or you still want to keep it? And then once I do that, I send it through RA reply. Let's say today is March. I'll put a follow-up for 2 months from now. So June the 5th, March the 5th, June the 5th. That's how I take it. So this one, eventually, I do also RVMs. Do an RVM trigger where it sends them an RVM out, not the text. So when I send the RVM, the son called me, the son that lives there. So the guy owns both lots, but the son lives on one of them. And he said, "Yeah, I'm ready to see it." They wanted 60. I got it for 37.5. The property. There's an issue with title on this property, where not really title, but there's an issue with the release of lien. It got paid off from an old company, but they never issued the release of lien. It never got recorded. So that process is tedious. You have to go find the right lien holder to sign you a release of lien and then get it notarized. So it's been on that again, and that kind of puts pressure on the owner, because on the guy that wanted to sell it, the son, because he wants to move into another house. And he said, you know what? Well, I can give you some money, but again, you got to give me some time for me to pay it off. He's like, while I get the payoff, the release of lien. He's like, how much can you can? Like, he's like, he wanted 25. Like, I can give you 10. Like, I said, I can give you 5. He said, no, it's too little. And then he came back, I'll get 10. So basically with this deal, I'm going to give him $10,000. I owe him $27,000 in 6 months with no payment, 0 interest. And then I'll put it in the MLS for like 79. And I'll probably make like 30K on that deal, just by doing that. Again, the release of lien being pending gave me the leverage because the owner wanted to sell it because they wanted to move on to a new property, but they couldn't because the release of lien wasn't issued. He said, can you give me some money? Like, yeah, I can give you some money, but you got to give me something back. And then, okay. And he said, how much you can? He wanted 25. And I said, I can give you 5. So I counted him real low. He said, no. Then he came back at 10. So it's a win-win for him and a win-win for me. I get 6 months to list it. And it's the property itself is great. And that price range, that area is selling for like 100. But again, if I sell it low, no repairs as is, cash, I'll get a buyer at 70. So that's that one. So yeah, that's crazy. One, the other one that I was going to talk about is this SEO. So this guy called me from one of my websites. The guy's from Florida. He had a property in my area. I told him, send me the address. Let me see it. I see the house. He's like, I gotta be at probably at 70, 73 for this deal. And he says, can you do 77? I was like, well, let me see it. I gotta see physically. The reason why I can't give you any more is because it's on wood foundation. In my area, wood foundation is not as desirable as slab foundation, which is cement. So I went to go see it. I told him I can do 75. He said, I gotta be at 77. And it's like, why? Well, I just gotta be at 77. I have an offer at 75. Now, in between here, where I went to go see it, and when I told him the price, I had told my other buyer that buys properties, I was gonna wholesale this property. He's like, hey, would you make this property work for you at 95? And he says, he said, send me pictures. I sent him pictures. He said, I can do 87. Perfect. So I already had a buyer locked up at 87. So I was trying to just bring my spread higher from this wholesaler that had the property, because I didn't want to do a double wholesale because it gets complicated and there's fighting and friction. So I was able to get the wholesaler at 77. I got the buyer at 87. I told my buyer, which I know that I've done deals before, hey, just pay me outside. Once you're done closing everything, send me a marketing check for 10,000. So it went to title and everything. And now the guy calls me about this deal. And what's it called? He says that he has good and bad news. He needs to renegotiate the price because he has another buyer at a higher price. Like, well, you can't do that, bro. Like, you can't, once it's locked up and ink, you can't do that. And the way we protect ourselves is we record memorandums, because remember, he's selling it directly to the buyer, which is my friends. So I'm not assigning it, it's direct to my buyers. So like, we record memorandums to protect you as the seller, to make sure there's no funny business on your side, and us as the buyers, and there's no funny business on our side. So we lock it up. So he's like, well, I have another buyer. Like, well, you can't do that. You can't renegotiate once it's locked up again. And he tells me what price he has it on. He's only making a couple of thousand on the deal. But like, you can renegotiate, man. Again, it is what it is. So again, he calmed down, whatever. The title wasn't even open when we locked it up. I thought he had mentioned that it was open and everything ready, but it wasn't. So it had just opened the day we locked it up. It had just opened the day before. So it was pending, stuff like that. It's being purchased through a credit line, but he keeps on calling me about, guys, I guess he's upset because he's getting such a small deal, such a small fee. I think just be grateful that you were able to lock it up and the seller didn't go away. But again, you live and you learn from your areas. So then he's telling me, he's pressuring me like, hey, I already spoke to a real estate escrow agent. Again, she actually already spoke to the seller. So this is you telling me all this stuff that the seller is going crazy. The seller already knows. The seller jumped you, bro, and she went directly to the title company to make sure that she knew what was going on. So he's the one telling me all this stuff about this. He called me yesterday. He talked for like 10 minutes straight. I just let him talk. I let him vent. I'm like, dude, I'm like your counselor. Once he finished, like, okay, well, again, it happens, bro. Like, when sellers are like this, you're like counselors. You have to just hear them out, apologize, fall on the sword, and then tell them, I'll go get upset at the title company. So he's the one being emotional, aside from the owner, and which the owner is not being emotional because the owner jumped him and went directly to a title company. So we'll hopefully close on it today. So that's $10,000 that'll make on that referral, because I knew the area, I knew what I can sell it at, I know what my buyers are buying at, and I know what the property is worth. Again, the bad thing about doing virtuals is you don't know areas. If you don't know areas, then someone that knows areas knows what somebody can pay for that deal, and that's what happened to me. So again, we locked it up at 77. I sold it at 87. I'll probably close today, and I'll get the $10,000 check for that deal. So again, that's one of the deals. The main thing here is, once you give your word to sell something at a certain price, you can't go back. All you gotta do is, again, if you get a better deal, I've done deals where I lock it up at a certain deal and then I get a price from another buyer at a higher deal. I can't cancel this deal. How am I gonna look as a someone of ethics if I keep on doing every time that I get a better deal? Oh, F you, I'm gonna get a better deal over here. It doesn't work like that. So, and I told him, like, you can't do that. You'll get a bad reputation and nobody's gonna make business with you. Because again, this is gonna happen again, and you're always gonna get it's like when you're single, nobody likes you. But when you're in you're in a relationship, everybody, oh look, I like you. Like, whoa, I was single for a long ass time. You guys never said anything. It happens with business as well. You know what I mean? It's true. So I kind of counseled this guy for that moment. It's like, yeah, just be ethical, man. Just take the loss. You didn't know the market. You got the price that you wanted. I didn't force you to sell it at 77. You got the price that you wanted. Just learn next time, do that, and make sure you erase this thing about jumping from one buyer to one buyer because one buyer gave you a higher price after you locked it up. Okay, it doesn't make sense. So that was a conversation that I had with him. Hopefully he learns, but if not, if he doesn't learn, he's gonna go out of business real quick. Because if that reputation follows him, that he keeps on jumping buyers once it's under contract, he's not gonna be in business for long. So yeah, and now today, the walkthrough that I mentioned today, I have a walkthrough. What's it called? At 1. This walkthrough, what I did, this one was awesome. It was an RVM follow-up. Like I was telling you guys, there's 2 ways how to do follow-ups. I do a text follow-up, and if I recently, let's say I do 2 text follow-ups. Let's say I do a follow-up in May, and then I do a follow-up in June, and nobody answers me. I'll trigger through IRL reply an RVM to drop. Just says, hey, we just touched base on this property. Did you keep or sell it? So this guy called, he didn't respond to my text. He responded to my, to my voicemail. But then I didn't call him back. I just responded to via text. So he called me back. I have a trigger that if I have a voicemail here, I get it on my phone and I respond to, hey, yeah, we just touched base. Did you get to sell that house? He said, no, the issue with this house is that he's had 2 other people try to buy it. And those 2 contracts failed at closing, because they locked it up higher. They locked it up at a really high price that didn't make sense. So I use that as leverage, and I told the seller, I'm gonna go see your house. I'm gonna get you the price. Maybe it's not the price that you're gonna want, but it's gonna be a price that I'm gonna be able to close on, and not like the other. Again, I brought out the other experience, and not like those other 2 guys that took you for a month and a half and they didn't close on the deal. So I went to see a house. I gave him a range from 105 to 155, the range. It's a pretty big range. But then when I saw it and everything, I offered him 110, me paying everything. Now, for this deal, before I given the 110, I had already spoken to one of my other investor buyers that like that area. He's gonna buy it for 125. So I already know I have a guaranteed buyer at 125. I took a video, I took pictures, I just prioritized him, and he said at 125. So then he said at 125 I can buy it. So perfect. Then I try to negotiate down, reverse my assignment fee. I spoke to the seller at 110. She's like, oh, it's too little. You said 105 to 155. I want it to be around 130. I was like, yeah, most likely the people that you had the contract before were around the 130, 135 range, right? Like, yeah, well, that's why they didn't close. Because when I go fund a property on a cash basis, where no requirements for appraisal, no requirements. So this is where I bring my funder as social proof, as a person of authority. So I told him, when I get this deal and I bring my funders that buy properties with no repairs needed, with no appraisals, with no inspections, they require the property to be at a certain price. What happened to your previous buyers, they did the same thing because all investors work the same. Most investors that are smart, they don't use their own money. They use other people's money to make deals work. So they took your property at 130, 135, and then they put it to the board of funders, and nobody wanted to pay 130. They all wanted to be at the 105, 110 range. That's why they came back and told you that they couldn't close on it because the bank or whatever happened didn't work out. Now, I didn't want to lie to you. I could definitely tell you 130, lock it up for a month and a half and then not close on it. But I'm not giving you the excuse that the other guys gave you. I'm giving you the price that works. I already showed it to my funders. My funder said yes at 110. So then she said, well, let me think about it. It's like, what price works for you? They want it to be the 130. Then you gotta be close to the 130. So then what I'm gonna do today for that walkthrough is I'm taking another investor. So the investor for 125, they said they're guaranteed at 125 if I lock it up at 110. If I lock it up, they'll buy it at 125. I have another investor that is new to the area that is more of a rental investor. This one's a flipper investor. I showed him the property. I tell him, what do you think about this one at 145? And they said, well, let me go see it. Right. So now this is the second time that I go see the property. So now I told the lady, the way that I go in there, I said, you know what, lady, I need to go see the property again because now I'm gonna take my designer, the person that makes the design, see where I can save some money so I can increase my offer from 110. So that's how me getting in. I'm bringing another person. First, I brought the funder to justify my payment at 110. And now I'm gonna bring my designer to justify jumping it up to 115, 120. Because now once I go into this and I take my funder and my designer and put them together, the funder wants to be at 110 with this many repairs. And then the designer is gonna tell them, well, we don't need that many repairs. We can bring down the repairs. So I'm putting this picture in the seller's brain of how this works. So again, I'll probably lock it up at 115, 120. And then once this designer, which is actually my buyer, sees it, she'll probably be at 140. So I'll make 20 in the middle. If I lock it up at 120, I'll do 20. If I lock it up at 115, which is 5 above them, I'll make 25. If I lock it up at 130, I'll make 10. So again, it's just conversating, bringing people of authority, again, using the leverage of the previous experiences to justify why your price is lower and why their price was higher, but why their price didn't close because the funder said no. The funder said the price is too high for that. So yeah, that's basically gonna be the walkthrough today that I'm gonna have. It was raining like crazy here in my area. I don't know if you guys, your area is raining. It was thundering and it was raining. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to cancel it. But no, it looks better. It's still raining, but it's not thundering no more. So yeah, so that was the conversation for today that I wanted to bring up as far as the deals that I went through. Again, the C buyer, in case you don't have anybody, I can't say enough good things from C buyer. C buyer is great. Of course, RR Reply is one of the best ones. But again, the main key is that if you get leads, having the guts. You have to have the guts to ask the right questions, having the guts to think on your feet and justify your prices like that. Yeah, man, we're all investors. Again, we're all investors. So again, we don't use our own money to buy properties. We use other people's money. So once we put it to the board tells you what we can pay for that property. And that's why I told you, I didn't want to waste your time, man. I wanted to give you the price that I can close on because I already put it to the board. And the board said that at this one, there's a check ready for me at 110. So that was the conversation that I had with the seller. And I'm going to have it today when I go see it again. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. You guys have any questions before we go? Tasha, thank you for being here and just hearing me out.
Sounds good. It sounds like you got something good going on there.
Yeah, again, and sometimes I apologize. I do talk a little bit fast. I've been told before that I talk fast. But again, it's worked for me so far. So I can't change it now, right? I got to work on my strengths instead of trying to improve my weaknesses. But yeah, guys, again, if you guys are in the Facebook group, again, just send in for questions. If you have questions for next week, if you guys wanted me to answer them, again, I say this, if I don't have any questions, I'll go and talk about my week. If I have questions, I'll prioritize you. It's basically like an hour talking to me as far as what I think about how you can do your business. But yeah, guys, again, keep it up. Consistency is key. Go ahead, Rick.
Thank you so much for all the guidance. You always learn something from you. So for the C buyers, I had talked to. It's been a while that I had contacted them. I have not recently. So as compared to, because you said you've been using them for over 5 years now.
Yes.
What's the difference in the lead that they used to had before?
I
and
think
now
before it was
currently?
more online. Now it's they
Okay.
implemented the email and the texting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And-
that's but overall the quality again, like they tell you, you're gonna have like 70% are gonna be people that just want to know their value. Some people that say,
Right.
"Oh, it wasn't me," but if it wasn't me,
Mhm.
you get a credit. Some people
Right.
just tire kickers, you'll get those. But again,
Mhm.
30% of them are good.
Right.
30%
And
are
you
good.
said so it's like $12 on average on the lead.
$12 a lead, and you have to have again a minimum. To get it for $12, you have to have 40.
Okay.
Right, so
Got
it brings the price down. If you get 10, they'll probably sell them to you at $15 and be. But again, for me, if you don't have leads and you just want to have leads, and remember, these leads are mostly either if they're not like original owners, you get a credit. But these are people that you're gonna be following up with them for the rest of their life until they sell. So I mean, once you get that C buyer lead, you create great rapport with the seller. You just follow up. Hey, ma'am, Ms. Garcia, we spoke to you a couple of months ago about your valuation for your house. Again, we're still interested. If you're ready to sell, I know you wanted to keep it, but if not, just let us know. Boom. They say, "Oh no, thank you, perfect." But you're creating that warm relationship with them. Eventually, they'll be like, "Okay, you know what? You've been on top of mine. I'll sell it to you."
Okay.
And that's
So
how it works.
So do you have a contact person that I should go through so that you can get a reference?
Her name is Jessica Guerra. Let me see if I can. Hold on, no. She's my agent. I don't know if she. Let me see. That can give you a good price. Jessica Guerra. Okay. Let me put it on the chat. Jessica. So you take a screenshot. That's the lady, and just tell them that's where we referred you to them. If again, I don't know if there's any referral, but I hope you get a good deal. I've had them for 2 months together, last month and this month. And yeah, until I have 3 leads that are good. I have that lead that has 2 properties, and I have like an older lead, and I have a newer lead, and they're good.
So
yeah.
you normally contact with her with the email, not a phone number?
Phone number. Let me see if she gives a phone number here. Oh yeah, she has right. No. 417 788 967. There you go. That's her direct line. And they assign you different like agents to your
Agents.
as a manager. But yeah, guys, again, look into it. Again, if you're struggling with leads, again, $500 is a pretty good amount for 40 leads. And then just improve, get on the calls and know how to talk to clients so you can get a good deals, good conversation skills. I also know which tool you have on your tool belt. Again, not only just the wholesale, you can do the lease options. Again, you can try all types of options with this type of leads.
True.
All right, guys. Well, I see you guys next week. If you have any questions, I can put it on the group. And again, if you need some questions answered next time, put them in the group and I'll try to answer them this week.
Thank you so much.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you so much.